promise to the American people in an effort to buy the election. I remember when Obama was elected, there was a online video of a woman that said, "Oh my goodness, I am so glad that he's been elected because I don't have to pay for my cell phone now." I mean, that pretty much expresses, I'm so glad all these people are going to be elected, or I'm going to vote for them, because I don't have to pay for whatever you want to say, because the government's going to provide it to me. Well, who's going to pay for it is going to be the ultimate test, Scott, Gary, and everybody else in the room. And I'll be long gone when it happens. But if you go back to history, you'll find out what happens to the empires when they can't pay for it any longer. In that direction, I don't see any improvement.
Thank you, Hanson. We'll go to William, followed by Dave.
Hi. So I think there's one fact that people are missing, and that is that the Democrats really are a big party, and there are people who have joined us from the Republican Party. You know, people like David Jolly down in Florida, Joe Walsh, Jeff Duncan from Georgia. There are people that have joined, people like George Conway, and they're welcome. George Conway didn't win the congressional race up in New York. It's his first time running. He's got to get his sea legs as a Democrat if he's serious about running, but he did run, and he was welcome, and nobody gave him a hard time. But he just didn't win that congressional race. So that there's a moderating factor of a lot of people who were Republicans who are now joining the Democratic Party. I don't know what the percentages is. I don't have statistics, but I think that is more frequent than what you're going to see in the terms of Democratic Socialists. Democratic Socialists may win in a congressional district. They may be popular in certain neighborhoods for real local offices, but I don't see that sweeping the Democratic Party and going nationwide. And you look sort of at the individual districts and see where that flew and why. As for things like minimum wage, the idea of raising the minimum wage is not a radical idea. I mean, what is it right now? $7.25 an hour federally. So if you doubled that, it still wouldn't be a living wage. So if you doubled that federally, that's not a completely radical idea. As far as Medicare for all, Medicare doesn't pay for everything, and people have to buy insurance to supplement the Medicare. So that the insurance companies really are still in the mix. It's just that, if you want expanded services, you may have Medicare paying for certain basic things, but you've got to buy insurance to cover other things or go out of pocket, and that can be bankrupting for a lot of people. So they buy insurance for the most part. So you can expand Medicare or make basic Medicare benefits available up and down the food chain or at an earlier age, and that would be a gradual expansion. Where's a lot of the tax deficit coming from? The tax breaks for the ultra rich really does cause a shortfall in the budget, and so you might see some moderate Democrats suggesting, well, maybe the ultra rich, the top 1% or the top 3%, these super big tax breaks. Maybe there should be a graduated tax that takes into account that some people have more than they can spend in 100 lifetimes. But that's not like putting a tax on everyone. It's just making people pay more of their share. The ideas of a moderate Democrat to raise the Medicare contribution levels from, like, what is it, 500,000 now, where it cuts off. I don't know the exact number, but raise that up to 750,000, and that would make Medicare solvent uh, for decades. If the chip-in was higher for the wage earners earning up, on the first $750,000, you contribute to Medicare as opposed to just the first $500,000. So those are moderate changes that are not going to turn the country into a socialist country. And in fact, we have a mixed economy. We have mixed elements of socialism and capitalism. It's primarily a capitalist country. I'm a moderate Democrat. And, and Scott is right about the grooming in West Philadelphia. You might have some people with bad grooming, that don't represent the party as a whole, and they certainly wouldn't fit in on the Upper West Side or Harlem or anywhere else in Manhattan. And I'm not as familiar with Brooklyn, but maybe there's a place for them there. But it's not. It's there are people that are on the fringes, but there are more centrists also joining the Democratic Party from the Republican Party because they didn't have a place in the Republican Party because they're alienated by MAGA. So I think there is going to be an expansion of the Democratic Party, and I think the Republicans coming in may offset the Democratic Socialists. I have no statistics to back it up, but that's just an observation.
So you suggest that this is like there are outliers and they're not going to take control of the party. And I'm wondering, William, whether your assessment of what has become MAGA, and I think I'm correct in saying that it actually began back in the Tea Party days when that was first brought to our attention in the public realm. Whether your assessment about them not taking over the Republican Party was the same as your assessment that the Democratic Socialists are not going to take over the Democratic Party.
I don't see them as being broadly popular. They may take over some congressional seats. They may take over some individual states.
Right, but that wasn't the question I asked you. I asked you whether your assessment of the Tea Party / MAGA at its inception was the same. Did you reckon that they would never take over the Republican Party?
I didn't actually have an opinion on it back then one way or the other. I just saw that they morphed into MAGA. And, then they included QAnon and, some other...
All right, yeah. So how is this different from that?
It's different because, if you look at the individual proposals that are being made, and some things, like if somebody's blowing hot air and making promises like Mondami that he can't keep, then that's gonna detract from his appeal in the long run if he promises stuff that he doesn't have the power to
happen in the inception of the Tea Party / MAGA movement?
Well,
it did. The exact same thing that happening on the liberal wing happened to the Republicans. Literally, almost verbatim.
I don't see
the wings of each party are becoming more popular.
I don't see the wings of the Democratic Party taking over the center. I don't think that they have.
Right, I know you made that point, but that wasn't the question. But thank you for it anyway.
Why do you say?
I answered the question several ways, and you didn't actually answer it directly, and that's fine. You're not on the witness stand, and you're not going to help.
My answer is no, but I don't see it happening. But
no, I know you don't see it happening. I'm asking you what are the marked differences between what happened to the Republican Party and what may be happening to the Democratic Party. I'm asking you to back up your point. I'm not arguing that your point is wrong. I'm asking you to back it up, and you're not answering what I'm asking. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to Dave, followed by Leaping.
when I look at who are the people joining DSA after 2024, I would say many come from the campus-wide protester, right? And that constitute about 80 to 85% surge in the membership. So who are these people, and how do the world look at this DSA? Basically, they constitute the continuation of useful idiot joining DSA, repurpose DSA into useful idiot, and therefore makes sense why Mandani say he want to arrest Netanyahu, not for the American people. These are for the 2 billion Muslim out there, and say, look, we managed to turn a reputable Democratic Party, repurpose it to be a useful idiot fraction of Democratic Party for the purpose of increasing, dividing the American population. And then who are the useful idiots? Some of them are May 21st, 2025, who chanted Free Free Palestine after murder 2 Jewish diplomats. And now in this new platform, they increase the hate among the American population. Who is hating, who is have a lot of rage because of the war in Iran, because they have the Trump's rage syndrome, join DSA. When you have so much rage, then you are a legitimate to kill anybody look like Charlie Kirk. That's the whole platform, useful idiot in American platform.
Let me ask you a question so I fully understand your point, and tell me if I'm getting it wrong. Are you suggesting that all of these domestic issues, the populist issues that people are quick to embrace of the Democratic Socialists of America, is subterfuge because their real agenda is to support Islamic extremism? Is that what you are
against America, as you point out, right? Against America, right? You need to stop from winning. You need to keep on putting pressure on Israel, and anything that make Trump look good, like ICE and everything, lump up all this agenda into DSA, and continue to force no war, peace immediately, and the war will continue in the Middle East. So who will win eventually? Who will be losing eventually? The American.
So again, am I going too far in my questioning about they are really supporting Islamic fundamentalism? That's not the point you're making then, right? Or is it?
I mean, for the American, they will not think as far as you. They still think, oh no, it's still Democrat.
Right, but I'm asking you if that's their hidden agenda. Are you arguing that that's their hidden agenda? Because I'm hearing an allusion to that, and I want to know whether that's what you are actually arguing.
Okay, I say yes, because who are crazy enough to say arrest Netanyahu and make it a political showcase? Who is crazy enough to do this? And you already point out it totally make no sense. You spend so much of your cognitive ability to say no makes sense. For them, it's total sense. For who? For the 2 billion Muslim out there.
Thank you for that, Dave. I just wanted to make sure I understood you. Leaping, followed by Edward.
Hey, what's up, Gary? What's up? Leaping real quick is my Native American indigenous name is Sleeping Bear Yuna Altadega. Just call me Greg, though. That's my legal name, Greg. First of all, I'm a centrist. Left, right, a little bit of both. The fact that the people, most people are worried about the Democratic Socialists, they have no reason to be. I mean, even in its infancy when Obama was first elected, because Bernie Sanders was way out to the left, and he drew some of them in to spark this so-called movement. And just like I can't remember his name, the person that said it was just going to be certain boroughs, certain districts. That's all it's going to be. People are making a big to do, and I think what we ought to be worried about is going either to the extreme right or to the extreme left. That's why I try to keep to the center if possible. Sometimes you have to choose the devil over the next devil. But what I think is 2028, everything will change, but it won't go to the point of democratic socialism.
Thank you for that, Glenn. We'll go to Edward, followed by Rambo.
Mr. Edward, you there?
Edward. We'll go to Rambo.
Hey, good evening, Gary, everyone. I've been listening to the conversation. Is there a question you want me to onboard on, Gary?
Well, the question is the Democratic Party taking a hard turn to the left? What do you think?
I think it's fractional. I think they don't have motion. The Mandamis of the world don't have enough volume at a national level. I think the Mandamis will exist in regions like New York and other places, in other cities. But by and large, I don't think that politic is going to take a hold in middle America. And we knew, at least I posed this question 2 years ago. What is the new? Because the outrage or the way people feel about the Trump administration and it being an authoritarian regime, right? The MAGA party piggybacking off of Republicans and then eventually taking hold of the party now, right? And then the Democrats finally getting the backbone, right? So the question I posed was, what's going to come of this? Like, will there be a new party that will emerge and be a centrist, more of a centrist party? Because the only difference in a lot of this was certain issues that I'm not going to get into, certain divisive issues and on policies were the divide that made a lot of Democrats vote Republican in 2024, right? Certain key issues that meant so much to a group of Democratic and independent voters that they went ahead and voted for the Republicans. So to answer the question above, I don't think it's taking a hard turn to the left. I think it's going to continue to morph. I think this hard left that we look at as they branch out and seek votes from middle America, I think their platform will soften a little. I think it'll be a little bit more malleable, and they will try to find a sweet spot somewhere along the way in order to get votes at a national level. And I'll land with this. I saw an image of Mandami, and I looked at this image and I said, wow, this is a couple of weeks ago. I forgot he was making an announcement. He was sitting behind a desk and he had people from all different hues in his background. And I said, that is the play. He's going national, because that was, basically the White House desk, right? And the way the imagery of it, and some of you may have seen it, it just made me think that this guy's he's going national. So that's my contribution. I land.
So assuming, Rambo, for the moment that your assessment is accurate, that these are just little outlying anomalies in communities that are more receptive to the message. Clearly, the Republicans are already trying to convince the voters that this is the direction of the Democratic Party as a whole. how do the Democrats counter that argumentation?
I'm glad you asked that. I know when I reacted, I said that, because I remember the next day after his victory, the sudden rush by Republicans on the news circuit. They saw a threat. Republicans and MAGA Republicans saw a threat, and they're so good at seeing a potential threat and responding to it with new points for its members. And so the word communism is a trigger word. And so they're using that trigger word, and you guys have heard the rhetoric. They're launching investigative parties, and they're monitoring them, and they're calling them violent. They're doing all of these things. They're not even giving it a chance to take hold. So yeah, I'm glad you did mention that. I think the Republican Party sees it as a threat, and they are acting as if it is a serious threat. They are not letting that seed get any roots. I hope that answered your question a little bit. But
Yeah, I think the fact is that the Democrats don't like being labeled communists, and the Republicans don't like being labeled fascists, right? Thanks, Rambo. Let's go to Sue, and we'll try Edward again. Sue.
Hey Sue, you there? Sue.
I'm sorry,
There's
guys.
Sue.
I
There
didn't
we
mean
are.
to go on stage.
Here we are.
I didn't mean to go on stage. Sorry.
That's okay.
Well, you're here. Edward, are you there?
To see you, Abby. Alan.
Now we can hear you, Mr. Edward. How you doing?
Hey, Mr.
Best day of my life. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
yes.
Mr. Edward.
Yeah, I do personally think that they've taken a hard left for several reasons. Number one, when you say you want to take away our borders, you want to take away the police, you want to change capitalism, you want the public sector to own, like what they're trying to do with the rent thing in New York. I just think that they're gone left. They're not a political party, but they're a pretty big body of people that's changing the way we see, whether it's the state constitution or the U.S. Constitution. They're pretty far away from it. That's just my observation of the things I've heard.
And what effect do you think, Edward, they have on, in reality, the Democratic Party, and secondly, with regard to perception about the Democratic Party?
Have a big effect because obviously some of the strong Democrats have been there, have lost their seats, which is very sad. Obviously, they're still not pro-Constitution or pro-America. And I think the perception, and this is where young people come in, especially young people, they're fond of socialism, they're fond of all these different things, because most of them probably were given the illusion in the last 40 years that America or colonialism has been a problem, versus them being responsible. Like, I ask young people, my son's 41, my daughter's 35, I always ask them and their friends, what do you hold to be self-evident, right? I don't think asking a Democratic socialist or a Democrat, what do they hold to be self-evident, it's very hard for them to answer that question, Gary. And I think that perception by itself is that they think that there's a government body that's going to bail them out of something, which doesn't exist at all. There's nobody coming to our rescue. So that's how I see it.
Thank you, Edward. Folks, we're here Monday through Friday at 5 o'clock New York time. So until 5 o'clock New York time tomorrow, for the next edition of the Critical Thinking Forum, everybody be safe, be well, and peace out.
I'm still debating of whether or not to have a woman like leaning over a tiny casket. You know, for the background of this video, I'm really mad at John, so I'm trying not to be too, you know, harsh when I do this. So.
Not a First Amendment matter because he's mayor.
Yeah, and Bren is also recognizing the ICC, which the U.S. does not recognize. That he's conducting foreign policy, saying that he agrees with the ICC and he's going to act on whatever warrant they have for Netanyahu.
I mean, again, we kind of have to break it into what he said before and then what he said last night. Because before, he was definitely interfering and they could have picked his ass up. Afterwards, he is still over the line because he is the executive officer of the city of New York. If he did not hold that job and he wasn't making that statement as a press briefing as mayor, you could maybe have an argument, but he does not have the same...
That's the crazy thing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Florida.
fuck it, I want to see a small puppy.
So if you're gonna go to
being like a 5-year-old while we're trying to have a
conversation. Comrade, are you saving the world right now?
No.
Oh, you're not though. But we should take you seriously, comrade. You're such a serious person.
Comrade, you know, what do you think objections are? Can we just go there? Because I feel like that might be more helpful for you.
I don't think the way that you are utilizing the term extraction is appropriate.
Okay, what's the right way?
You're trying to say that the concepts that describe natural phenomenon, the concepts themselves are abstractions, and that is not what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm talking about the physical processes themselves. And the physical processes themselves are not abstractions, right?
I know, which is why I kept distinguishing between the abstraction, biological, or electronic correlates.
The words that we use have meaning.
I know.
These are assigned to things in subjects. The subjects,
unless they're abstractions, right?
Words are abstractions.
Words are abstractions.
Are a physical phenomenon. And I'm sorry.
Words aren't physical phenomena, unless you write them down, I guess.
Phenomenon. Qualia, as you described it, is a specific phenomenon.
No, it's not.
Yes,
not a physical
living things that are able to prove.
That's the problem you're having.
You're smuggling that in. You have to prove that.
I'm not smuggling it.
You don't know what qualia even is.
It doesn't.
It's not even. You want to know? You want to know what's crazy? One of the main features of qualia is that it's non-physical. So how can it be a physical phenomenon, comrade? Riddle me this.
Oh, that's false.
It literally is in the definition because it's in the definition.
Qualia is just qualia is just. Hold on, Leon. Qualia is just what it's like part of your subjective experience. Nowhere in that definition does it mean. I don't care about the abstraction stuff. The thing that I'm disputing, I don't know why you keep under talking. I'm not fucking comrade. Okay, you're not correcting shit. You're just fucking wrong. So what I was going to say is that the qualia is the what it's like part of your experience. Okay, there's nothing in there that dictates that it must necessarily be non-physical or physical. Okay, that's
so the what's it like part is physical. That makes sense to you? Really?
The what it's like part
is physical.
What about that tells us that it necessarily must be non?
Yes. So what's it like part is physical? How much does the what's it like part weigh? How big is it? How extended is it? What color is it?
No, we get it. It's an
It's a causal physical.
It's an abstraction, guys. Like,
it is not a fucking abstraction.
Okay, so then why is that in the definition? Okay, why is it in the definition? Oh wait.
It's not in the definition. What are you talking about?
Literally.
Where's your definition?
You want me to read it? It's in the chat.
Are you going to read Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy? Because I've read that.
Exactly,
It doesn't say that.
exactly where it
that's
is.
That's one interpretation of what qualia is.
So
that's what
you have
you're.
a different definition? You haven't provided any definitions. The fuck? You want me to read it to you or not?
Go read it. Tell me where it says.
All right, cool.
That the definition of qualia. Okay, well you can just wait until I'm fucking done, Black, or you can do what happened last time and I kicked your ass out of the fucking room for being a scumbag. All right, I don't know. This is not your house, bro. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead and read your definition, and if it doesn't say that qualia is necessarily non-physical, then you're.
Okay, it doesn't say necessarily. It says it's not physical, which is what I said. It said. So don't change my words and move the goalpost. But here's what it says. It's in the first.
Now you're just being dishonest because you did say that it is necessarily non-physical. That's what you said.
I just said it was not physical. Don't lie.
You quite literally interrupted me to say it is.
Do you want to put this to a vote? We want to put this to a vote.
Insanity by consensus is not a good measure. Let's just move on.
When I described that one senses were necessary, to even experience fucking qualia, you literally said that. Stop being a fucking dickhead.
No, I didn't. All I said was that the definition says that it's non-physical. That's all I said. So we can bet $1,000 if you're not bitch made. You want to bet?
How are you gonna prove it though?
We have the recording in the room.
Really? You know we're recording? We're recording.
Oh, I thought this is not.
Oh.
I guess you guys just lie. Do you want me to read the thing that proves you wrong or no?
You misspoke. It's okay. We can move on. Let's go.
That's fine.
Want me to read the thing that
What's up, T? How's it going?
So I'm not allowed to read it now?
You've already conceded defeat. What's up, baby?
How are you?
No, I didn't. I told you what I said, and I was about to prove it.
You misspoke. It's okay. We're moving on.
So wait,
I just want to interject one second.
Just to be clear, I'm not allowed.
Just move on from this shitty point. Jesus Christ.
I guess.
I wasn't here before, Elliot, but Black. Are you a dualist, or I'm assuming you think that consciousness?
Hey, look, it's Abe, the little bitch Abe. Look at this. He's here with us. This is so exciting.
We're not going to do that here, Roy.
I'm not a dualist, no.
I think we need more gasoline, Elliot.
Wait, I'll go for it, Abe.
What are you disagreeing with Elliot about when he talks about the consciousness is physical?
Consciousness is physical. You're talking about qualia as being physical, not consciousness. I'm saying that qualia is definitionally not physical. It's like one of its defining features in the literature. So.
Oh, so you just again stated what you said you did not say.
What did I state?
You said it is definitionally non-physical, which means it's.
I didn't deny that I said that.
Non-physical.
What I denied that I said was that it was necessarily, because you guys lied.
Oh, fucking God. If it is definitionally non-physical, that means it's necessarily non-physical.
No, it doesn't mean that. Those are not anonymous terms. The fuck?
It's like, are we just going to say words don't mean what they mean?
That's right. We're going to fight with dictionaries. Let's move on.
No, bro. Definitionally does not mean the same thing as necessarily. That's something you made up.
Anyway, the point is this. The point is this, Black.
Like, you already lost this debate. I don't know why you're going back into it, but go ahead. Sorry.
The point is this. When you say qualia, right, you're just taking a word from the philosophical literature, right?
I am.
There are plenty of neuroscientists who don't even accept this word qualia.
That's true.
You seem, thank you. You seem like mighty attached to it, but instead of arguing about the word qualia, why don't we talk about whether qualia are even real?
I mean, we could, but I was interested in the concept, and I was just trying to make sure we knew what it meant, so that people like Comrade and Elliot were saying dumb shit about it would stop saying dumb shit.
You think that insects don't have brains? Stop.
No, I don't. I simply asked if bees had brains. You said yes, and I accepted them.
Yeah, you asked them.
I never said they didn't.
Brains. You should
not. I didn't know.
Other people's intelligence.
And I don't know if praying mantises have brains.
That's insane. That is insane. They have fucking.
Oh my God.
Okay. But there's a lot of things I don't know. Unlike you, I'm willing to admit it. Like, I'm not gonna sit and pretend like I know something.
What do you mean, unlike you? Dude. Like,
you're pretending like you know what qualia was the entire discussion.
Pull something stupid out of your ass to claim that I don't have understanding of it. We're literally having a conversation about what results from the perception of living things? And you didn't even know fucking insects have brains.
Okay. I mean, it's not the win you think it is, but okay, you win knowing
It's
things like it.
embarrassing. Are you fucking serious?
Not
The people
really.
who are muted are probably laughing at you. How the fuck are you an adult and you don't know that fucking praying mantises and bees have brains?
I'm pretty sure a lot of adults don't know that, but okay.
Where's Lisa?
You didn't know the jellyfish did.
Yeah, Wissam needs to come up
I
on
do
stage,
know that
please,
jellyfish
Wissam.
don't
Please
have
save us,
brains.
Wissam.
Fucking idiots.
You do now.
What are you talking about? No, I've been here. What the fuck?
Alright, bro.
Alright, can you guys just give it a rest? Can we hear from Abe? Abe is actually a very level-headed person. Abe, what else did you want to say?
Let somebody else talk to save him.
Yeah, because what you're saying is fucking dumb. You want to talk about the meta and shit, okay? But Abe doesn't want to.
You don't even know what I'm saying because you don't know what I'm talking about. But that's fine.
You're just wasting time at this point. You're wasting everybody's time by continuing the super discussion. Let's hear from Abe.
I said let's hear from Abe. I'm in agreement with you guys. You just fucking cracked. Listen, like Abe wants to talk.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
And you're still talking. But wow.
I guess I'll wait for Abe then.
yeah, sure. The point is that there are two basic ways you can approach this phenomenon. One, you can approach it from a medical perspective, like a neurologist, a biologist, people who sprain, and then they talk about what we found. The other way is philosophers who, in my opinion, basically either sit around on like their couches just hypothesizing, or the good philosophers basically bootstrap off the scientists who they look at their literature, their work, their experiments, and then they start philosophizing based on that. So what I'm trying to point out is there's an asymmetry here when it comes to delving into consciousness and qualia and all the words that you seem to like scientists. And all I'm saying is, I think the matter needs to be researched and adjudicated by the people who are actually looking and experimenting with the brain, not philosophers who just make up words and then stick to them, and they don't really have any like empirical basis.
Okay, what do the expert neurobiologists say about qualia?
Expert biologists don't use the word qualia.
Exactly.
Well, we have Wissam down in the audience. If only he would come up, Wissam, please.
Wisdom's above the riffraff of.
Word. They need to invent a word, because if they don't invent it, they basically have nothing to do.
Scientists invent words too, but okay.
But no,
The
no
inventing of it
biologists.
doesn't mean anything. Like scientists do it too, biologists do it all the
No,
time.
scientists, they make up words when they are when they are well motivated on the basis of empirical findings. That's when they make up words. Philosophers just make up words just to I don't know, be able to.
Some of them, not the scholarly ones, but you're not wrong. Like there are a lot of philosophers who are bad.
No, I'm not wrong. They are.
But you have a pejorative stereotype of philosophers that's not true. Actually, most modern philosophers don't do what you're saying, but it's fine. You just like science over philosophy, which is fine. I get it. It's your preference, and I don't even disagree that much because I think a lot of philosophers are full of shit, to be honest. So fair enough.
So why did you get taken in by their bullshit that you're reading about qualia?
The irony is that Pro started the stuff about qualia, not me. The fact that you came in here and blamed me without knowing what happened is kind of awkward and not very scientific, is it?
No, I'm not saying you started the room. I'm just saying that you talked
I
about
didn't even
qualia.
start the topic. I was talking about qualia because Pro wanted to talk about qualia.
Okay, but it's irrelevant. You believe in qualia.
I believe in qualia.
You think they're real.
I think they're real. Okay.
I mean, do you? I'm asking you. Do you think qualia are real?
I don't have an opinion on whether qualia are real, actually.
You're
I was just defining it in the literature because that's what Pro wanted to talk about.
Synesthesia makes me think it is real, and even more weird than we realize.
And it's something I had discussions about because I was a philosophy major in college. So that's all. I was just trying to have a discussion about it, not take a position on its fucking I don't know, bro. It's existential status or whatever, like metaphysical status.
Now, if you had to bet your money on it, do you think qualia are real, or that consciousness is?
I mean, I guess it would depend on what you mean by it. The thing that I think is obviously real is people have subjective experiences of things. That's kind of what people are getting at when they say qualia. So other than that, I don't take a position. I don't know. People say weird shit about qualia that I disagree vehemently with. I don't want to be tied to that shit. So that's about it. That's about all I have to say about quality.
We also had some other people join the stage, so somebody else wants to.
Let's have that.
Yeah, I just wanted to thanks. I just joined the room, so
could you just say once?
Say what?
You broke up a sec. Could you just say what is the one thing you said you for sure know?
What I know are real is that people have subjective experiences, and that's kind of what people are getting at when they talk about qualia. Also, there's a bunch of weird shit that people say about qualia that I do not. So I'm not trying to like lump myself in with the weirdos on qualia. But if all you mean by qualia is that people have a kind of subjective what's it like to be experience of things in the world, I'm cool with that. I think that's not that spooky.
You know.
Yeah, I don't think it's spooky either. I think it's also.
You guys converge to the same endpoint in the end. This is insane.
You know that if inputs are finite, that a subjective experience can repeat, right?
Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, there's many ways to slice this. That's right.
Should probably carry that with you.
Has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but
I mean,
fun fact, I guess. I don't know why you keep interjecting that issue into the conversation.
Suture, you wanted to say something? You're open mic, Suture or Deepak?
Yeah, cool. Sorry. Yeah, so I just sort of stepped into the conversation and I was just trying to get my head around what the disagreement is. Because I thought that qualia genuinely just meant a subjective conscious experience, and I just wanted to see what the disagreement was broadly.
Well, I think what T brought up is that it could be the case that there actually isn't any qualia. That there's stuff like eliminativism. There's what else is there? Like there's illusionism. These are real theories of mind that are like the serious philosophers and people with PhDs in the relevant fields think is the case. So we should take it seriously. And it is germane to the room title, the qualia of bioparanormal.
I actually, Elliot, I actually am an eliminativist.
What's up, Sutra?
Hi, Rosa, how are you?
Hey, I didn't know if Sutra was trying to say something like
It sounded like flushing water to me.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm driving. I'll try and mute up.
Riding in the toilet is crazy.
Hey, what does that mean when you say you're eliminativist? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like about consciousness, about what? Can you have that kind of position about what is that? Can you talk about what that entails? I'm just curious.
Yeah, sure. So, eliminativism. Sorry, Elliot. What was the word you used before? What was it? Is it eliminative?
Illusionism.
Oh, illusion. Yeah. So I don't know as much about illusionism, but eliminativism I'll talk about because that I actually am. So eliminativism is basically just like it's the idea that our common ways of talking about things doesn't actually correspond to scientific, reality. So I'll give an example. In the olden days, people used to use the word angry. So like if you were in the 13th century and someone said, I'm angry. So we understand kind of what that means. But the word anger, it doesn't apply in the layman's terms, the way they use it. It's not really what anger is. Nowadays, when we research it scientifically, anger is actually a bunch of biochemical responses in your body and brain. It has to do with adrenaline, cortisol, your heart rate increases. Like that's all those physical things are actually what anger is. So basically the layman's definition of anger got eliminated under, more scientific inquiry. And the idea of...
Why can't
Hold on, we can't hear you, Deepak. Your mic sucks.
This is wrong as usual.
Yeah, that's not accurate. So let me just finish and then you can respond. So the point is, Leon. Yeah, so the point is that also like eliminated a bunch of other stuff like in history. There used to be like the ether in physics where they thought that everything's moving through an ether. We eliminated that once we understood that like light can travel in a vacuum. So the point is that the idea is that we have historical precedent that every time we learn more about the universe, our old layman's terms that people use to describe certain phenomenon becomes eliminated, and we no longer use it anymore. So in the context of consciousness, the idea is that even the words we use when we use qualia or consciousness, those things will be eliminated in the same way we eliminated ideas about the ether, or in biologists, remember before we knew about like evolution and stuff, we thought that there was like the vital life force that was animating everything. That got eliminated once we understood biology and chemistry. So
Yeah, like,
that's just the basic idea about eliminativism.
Oh, okay. So, but you like it wasn't clear when you described it. You do think that like anger is like an okay shorthand for all of that stuff. Like it's still a usable. It still fits like or like when we use it and we're describing what's happening with someone, even though we're not describing like the set of like physical processes precisely, we're still like indicating something that has some like value for helping us understand what's going on. Right?
For
different level.
Probably
At a different
Yeah,
level.
for layman, I think you're probably right, which remains, you know, in the, I don't know, for peasant form, yeah, when peasants say that I'm angry, yeah, it works. But the point is that if someone starts claiming, if like the 13th century peasant would start claiming, anger is like something special or it's non-physical, you know, how could you get angry if it was physical? It has to be non-physical. That would be... Yeah, that would be a claim that we could easily eliminate by understanding the biological substrates that are, you know, making up anger. So the idea is that, yes. So the idea is just that when we understand the brain more deeply, even the word consciousness is kind of going to be eliminated, and we're not going to need it. Like when people say consciousness, they're using it as a shorthand for brain processes that are currently too complex for us to fully grasp.
But why would we stop using it though? I don't know why we stop, because like you're when you talked about the ether, that's like a very, I don't even think that relates, because even though we may understand, like we have a complete understanding of consciousness, we may still use like these terms because they still have like some type of pragmatic like fit for how we interrelate as humans, like on like the you know the whole social realm, like wouldn't that be the case? Like, okay, we can like change the underlying or like the exact like you know definition for the thing, and maybe like eliminate it in the sense that we now like understand whatever like the referent is, but we can still like use it at the social level, and we can still like indicate things with it, and it can still have some use value that's like important for like how we like need to understand each other or like interact or like carry on social processes, right? Like that's the thing when you say eliminate, I'm like, oh, what does that mean? With the ether, that makes sense. You can eliminate that because we have a use. It doesn't really have any use value anymore. Like, what's its use value? Right? It doesn't have a use value. We replaced it with something, you know, with
when I say to be
Michael Orley or whatever. Is that
to be fair? Yeah, to be fair, Leon, when I say eliminate, I'm not saying eliminate from everyday usage in language, even though it might be. But what I'm arguing for is when people are making unwarranted philosophical claims on the basis of these words. Yeah, that's going to be eliminated.
Okay, I get it.